Have you ever wanted to build a website, SaaS application, mobile app, or standalone desktop application, but you have no idea how to code? Well, today I'm going to show you how we can build literally anything using just ChatGPT and VS Code. And when I say anything, I literally mean anything. With AI, you don't have to have a bunch of software experience to become a dev and make cool projects. If you know how to use these tools in the right way, you can literally build full stack applications to make you money, start a business, make your own website, do literally whatever you want. On this channel, I talk about AI and how it's going to affect business, and I truly believe interacting with these AI models is the next generation of how we're going to build new software and apps. Instead of having to code with cryptic information and all these different functions and algorithms and all that, we're going to be able to make applications with natural language, which is going to take out all the complexity and allow us to build applications with AI, all using the language that we know how to speak the most. And we can use tools like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or Claude now to build out these applications. So, assuming you have no prior experience to programming, let's start using ChatGPT to build out some cool applications. And then I'm going to show you what's possible just by using this framework I'm about to teach you. So I'm over on ChatGPT, and we're going to be using ChatGPT 4 for this example. And all we're going to have to do is just make a new ChatGPT chat and then say, how can you code me a simple website as a personal blog, make it look nice? So I don't even really know how to code. Right off the bat here, ChatGPT is going to give us some structures, looks like some HTML, some CSS, and JavaScript to get our blog up and running. And how we're going to do this is basically just copy and paste the stuff we get from ChatGPT right into VS Code. So while this is running, we can take a look over at VS Code here, and I have a brand new window here. All we have to do is just come into here. We can make new files for our little website. So we have our new HTML file, which we need to name index.html. So I'll copy this. I'll come back over here. I'll name this index.html. And we can just paste that bad boy in there. And then we can take our styles, which is we're going to name style.css. And I'll take this and I'll put this in here. I'll name it style.css. And if we paste that in there, and we can add JavaScript if it's optional. But yeah, so we have our new little website here. So this setup gives you a simple, stylish starting point for a personal blog. From here, you can customize it more by adding CSS or JavaScript for interactivity. Consider a CMS for more advanced features and content management. Awesome. So we have this code now, literally copy and pasted from ChatGPT. How do I run this website? Is just open our HTML and double click and open it, what it looks like. So I have no clue how to code or how this even works. All we're going to do, just come on over to our directory where we made our little project at. And if I open up our index.html file inside my folder, you can see, look at that. We have my very simple personal blog built out right here. And it looks like we have a little navigation here, a simple blog, and look at that. We can just start from here and build it as such. So let's just say this. Oh, it even gives us another option if we want to use a simple HTTP server using Python. We're gonna skip past this for now. We don't really have to pay attention because we've already got our website kind of running here. So we're gonna say, edit my website to add a functionality for the user to add new blog posts and make it look nice. So it's gonna say, add a form to your HTML here. Also looks like it's telling us we need to add some JavaScript from this section up here. So we have to style our form. All right, awesome. Okay, so we have some new code here that it wants me to input. What I'm going to do here is just take our code that we got from before, so our index.html, and I'm going to paste this in here, and I'm going to do the same for our styles.css, and I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm just going to say, rewrite these two files with all the changes to include the nice looking blog functionality. And it will go ahead and then rewrite these files for us with the new functionality it laid out up here. So we can just come on here and we can wait for this to be done, and while it's finishing, we can check on over and kind of understand this a little bit more. So we have this new HTML here, which looks to be part of the structure of our website. And we can kind of give it a scan through and kind of see what's happening here. We have what looks like to be a header, some buttons, and then like an add post modal with a little tree here of what's happening, some main content, a footer, and then a script here. So we could take our new HTML. I'll come over here and then I'll just paste this in here, make sure to save, and then I'll do the same thing for this one as well. So we have our new styles coming in here. Didn't finish, so we can continue generating, and look at that. So there we go, we have our new styles. I'll copy this over, I'll put this in here, I'll save it, and I'll check out our new blog. If I give this a refresh, look at that. So we have a button here with an add new post here. And oh, looks like we get this little modal that pops up here. So if I add a new blog post, I'll just say, hey, this is my new blog. I don't know why it's in capital letters there. We'll call it good. And looks like we can pick a day here. So I'll just say 3/13 and 2024. Look at that. Okay, and we can add in some content here. So this is my first post and add post. Form submission. So this is where you would handle the submission. So it doesn't actually put our blog post anywhere. So let's update this to actually put our blog post somewhere. So say, how can you edit our HTML to display the blog post on the website? So it's giving us a little bit of some context as to how we can fix this problem. What we're going to want to do here is modify the JavaScript. So we have some new JavaScript here that we're going to add in. This is the script tag, what it looks like. So it's telling us we're going to have to replace this script tag with the new script tag. Should just be able to copy this over. And if we head to our HTML here, and if we take a look at our current script tag, so we just have this section right here. If we replace that with the new stuff that we got here, and I'll just save this and come back here. Awesome. So let's just give this another shot as well. So if I refresh this here, and I just put in some numbers and then some, this is my first post. Does this work? Post added. Look at that. Our post has been added right here. Come in and add a new post. Let's just say, this is my second post. And we can type in some more numbers. And there we go. And we'll comment, I love coding. Because we're not really coding, but we kind of are coding. Look at that. Our second post with our dates right there. Awesome, isn't that sweet? We have a little blog built out in a matter of no time with ChatGPT. I didn't have to code a single line for this. We've got at least something here. And what we can do too is we can take this to its natural extreme and we can just put in our styles back in here and then just kind of keep asking it questions until we can get it to do whatever we want. And this is just with a simple CSS style sheet here and an index page, right? So to make more complex applications, we're actually going to want to do other completely different projects to do more complex things. So that's kind of what I want to show you in this section of the video. So if I want to get my blog hosted on a website, how would I do this? Well, let's ask ChatGPT. Say, how can I have my blog hosted on the internet? And let's see what it gives us. So to have our blog hosted, we can use a couple different options here. We can use GitHub Pages, which is best for static sites. So that's kind of what we have right now is some HTML and CSS that's completely free. Or we can use Netlify. Netlify is another great option. These are all applications we can check out in their own right here. So if we don't know what they are, we can kind of look these over and see what they all do. And if we don't really know what's happening, we can always ask ChatGPT and say like, hey, like what does all these things here mean? Like what is the gigabit bandwidth? What are build minutes? You know, things like that. Or why would I go with something like the Pro membership here? You can really get advanced with this. So there's Vercel, Firebase hosting, traditional hosting, steps for hosting your site. Awesome. So what if I want to say, I want to put this on GitHub Pages. How can I put this on GitHub Pages? So if I come on over to GitHub Pages, oh, it even has like a little step-by-step right here. Make a GitHub account, create a repository, prepare the website, upload your site to GitHub. Okay, so it's kind of giving us like a step-by-step outline of what we can follow here to get our site posted to GitHub Pages. I'm not going to follow this, but you can definitely follow along and put this on GitHub so you can see your website. And once again, we really didn't even code anything in order to get this to work. As I mentioned before, you can edit this as much as you want, you know, copy and paste this, put this back into ChatGPT and just play with it until you have something you're happy with. But I want to kind of move on to this and show you guys how we can make other things. If I make a new chat window here, and then I'm gonna say, how can I make a simple desktop application for note-taking? So if I wanna make my own note-taking app, because who doesn't nowadays, let's see what we can come up with. So it's gonna tell us we have a couple different options here for a basic note-taking application. We could choose our design development. So we have Electron or Flutter. So in this case, I see we have HTML and CSS, so I'm probably gonna go with Electron in this case. There's also a different framework for native apps here, but I see that Electron also has this cross-platform support. So I think I'm gonna stick with Electron for now. And then we can just kind of, yeah, it even gives a simple Electron app here. So I'm just gonna copy this command here, head back over to VS Code, make a new terminal up here. This terminal is how we can run commands inside of our folder here. I'm just gonna paste this in here, and what do we get? The term npm is not recognized. Okay, so let's do this then. We get an error. I'm gonna copy this error here, head back over here, and then I'm gonna paste in our error that we get. And let's see what comes up here. So it tells us to verify our installation of Node. So we need to have Node.js installed. So if I'm a complete beginner and do not know how to code, it's even going to tell us what we need to install to get rid of that error. So we're going to need to install Node in this case. So if I just head over to Node here, nodejs.org, we're going to need to install Node.js. So I'll just follow the instructions and install Node. And from here, I can just accept everything. I'm not really going to think too much about it. I'm just going to install a regular recommended version of Node. Nothing fancy here. All right, so we got Node installed. Awesome. So now that we have Node installed, we can verify our installation. So let's just click on this here and let's paste this back into here and see what comes up. Look at that. Okay, so now we have Node 20 with 10.2.4 installed for, it looks like npm something. So we have our Node v and our npm v. Awesome. So now let's proceed with our project. So now let's take this code here, and do we have, is it different from the code up here? Yeah, okay, we'll take our code and we'll paste these commands in the terminal. And it looks like, upon first inspection, looks like there's node modules in this package.json. I'm gonna delete our other files we got from earlier because we're gonna make something new here. Okay, so after finished, we have our package.json and our package lock in this node modules folder. So we need to make a main.js, it looks like, and also an index.html. So if I take this here, I'm gonna make a new main.js, and I'm just gonna put that in there. And then I'm gonna take an index.html, same thing for this, similar to what we did before. Whoop. Make sure to spell HTML correctly. It's kind of a key thing, right? And we'll just paste that in there and test and iterate. So what do we do from here? So how do I run my Electron application? Didn't even spell application right. To run your application, you would use Electron followed by the path to your script, either main.js or index.js. Looks like we need to ensure our package.js includes a start script. So let's look inside our package.json here, and it looks like, I don't know if this is going to work or not. So let's going to take this. So let's take this, we'll put it in here, and we'll say, this is my package.json. Is it okay? And we'll just see if that works. Then it looks like we just need to start npm start to run our application. Let's make sure this is okay. Okay, so it gives us our new package.json. So I'll take this, I'll put this in here, and then I'll take our command npm start, and let's test this out. So in our coding thing here, if we give this a run, it looks like we have an error launching app. This is interesting. So this obviously did not work. What is the issue here? So say I got an error. I got an error launching the app. What is the problem? Okay, so it's giving me some kind of errors to go through and check to see what's wrong here. We have a very similar looking thing here. I'm just gonna say, how do I run this application? So we're going into our thing here, enter in that. Our package.json has the scripts, npm start. So it says, please verify that the package has a valid main entry. Index.js, is that what we need to call this instead? So, okay, yeah, I need to change this from main to index. Okay, yeah, so let's change this instead. Let's change this from main to index.js, and let's test this out again. Let's see, does this work now? Look at that. Okay, so that was the issue. So kind of reading it over again and looking through it, we can now say, hey, save note. Does this save? I don't see any notes here. Okay, this kind of blows. So let's take this here. We'll paste this back in here and this in here. And then we're gonna say, rewrite the entire code completely to make a comprehensive notes app with pages. Make it look nice. We don't want no regular notes app here. We want the cream of the crop, some AI juice. So we have our main.js. We already know we're gonna keep this on index.js, as that was kind of the error that was holding us up last time. But then it also tells us we're gonna make some more files. So we have index.html, which we already have. We're also gonna need renderer.js, styles CSS, and notes.json. So renderer.js, styles.css, and notes.json. Styles.css and notes.json. So we have some more files here that we're just copying from what it tells us to do in here. So we have our new index.js, which I'll put in there. And then we also have our index.html, which I can copy and put in here. And then our renderer process, which I'll also copy and put in here. And then same thing for styles.css. I will do the same thing, put that in there. And awesome. So we have, I think that should all be good. Let's test this out again. So if I come back into here, if I say force reload, look at that. So now we have our new notes app. Hey, save note. I can't save my notes. Oh, let's first make sure that this continues here. Oh, so we need to put an empty array inside of our notes app, it looks like. So we have this here. Let's force another reload. This isn't working. We're just saying, this isn't working. How can I save and view my notes without the JSON? So that might be doing something a little weird to our application here, but let's just continue on. Modify your renderer.js to use local storage for saving and uploading notes. Okay, so we're gonna test this out. Sweet. So we can take this here. I'll put this in here. And then, so ensure index.html. Right, so we're gonna say this. So it looks like we also need to update our index.html in order to display the notes. So I'm gonna say, rewrite the index.html to display the changes. And I'm gonna put this in here. And we'll see if it gives us something new so we can see our notes. Okay, so it's gonna improve our HTML for us, whether we like it or not here. So let's do this. We'll put this in here. And I'll get rid of this with Control-C and just npm start. Let's try this out again. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so we got a little better app here. Say, hey, save this note. All right, there we go. We finally have some note-taking abilities. So this is my second note. Awesome. Okay, sweet. So this looks all right, but we can probably do better. Let's give this another shot. So I'm gonna put all this in here, especially the styles.css, and then I'm gonna say, make this project. So to say, make this project look a lot better so I can click on a note, edit it, and delete it. So yeah, so we'll use this prompt with all of the other pasted in aspects of our application that we just built out. Let's see the changes that we get here. So we have our new HTML, which I'll copy over and I'll paste this in here. And then we also have some new styles here. All right, so I'll take these. So it tells us we want to just put these in, looks like our existing styles. So I'll copy those. And then I'll just come down to the bottom here and paste those in as it told me to. And then same thing for, okay, so the renderer.js has to be updated to delete our notes as well. Let's continue editing on this one. All right, so we have some more functionality. I'll take this and I'll put this in here. And with the changes, if we give it another go, it even keeps our notes for us. Look at that. So if I click on it, we can edit our notes and we can delete our notes if we want. So I like this, but I want this to look a lot nicer. So I'm going to say this. How can you edit this to make everything look a lot nicer and put together? So we want a more comprehensive CSS outline. And just by putting in some simple prompts here and copy and pasting, we really can shape and form this app into whatever we want. And then after, we can even ask it, like, how would I go about deploying this application and maybe putting it on GitHub or turning it into an actual legitimate application that people can install, right? And you can have it do all sorts of crazy things, right? If you want it to run scripts or scrapers or anything like that. So awesome. So we've got our new CSS styles here. I'll copy this, I'll paste this into here, and I'll give our little application here a new run. I'll go to force reload, and we have a little bit better styling here. Okay, yeah, so the text changed a little bit here. The buttons look a little bit nicer. We come into here and we can edit our notes, update our notes if we like, delete our notes. And yeah, just overall, I mean, it doesn't look great. Obviously, you want to come into here and make it look a lot better, but you get the idea. You can come into here and copy everything and just keep pasting it until you get what you want. But now let's start fresh again. What if I want to code a game, for instance? And in this case, I will say we already need to install Python, as Python is one of the programming languages that we can use in order to make games and projects. So as a prerequisite, we can install Python from the Python library here. We can pick the installer of our preferred platform on the downloads page here and just install it like you would any other program. And once we're in here, let's say this: make me a simple snake game with Python. So it's going to make a simple snake game in Python using Pygame library. Interesting. So if I don't have the libraries installed already, what we can do is make sure we install pip/pygame. So if I were to wait for our little snake code game to run, in the meantime, what we can do is, here's a pro tip if you're using VS Code. We could check out the extensions tab here, right? And we can search for extensions to make our life in VS Code a lot easier. And one for Python that you're going to want to install is the Python extension right here. So make sure you have this Python extension installed. This will let you work with Python and do all kinds of really cool things and run scripts directly on VS Code. You can see it has literally over 100 million downloads. So it's really popular to run Python. But from here, we can, looks like we still need some code to generate for us, but we're gonna, all right, so it's done here. If we copy our code and we head back into here, and I'll name this snakegame.py. Py is the extension for Python files. Paste this in here. And if we try to run this, so when we install the Python extension, we'll get this little run button up here. Let's see, we got an error. Okay, so let's figure out how we can get around this error. So it looks like we need to actually install that Pygame package it was talking about in the beginning. So yeah, Pygame is installed on your Python environment. To fix this, we need to run this command. Right, so let's copy this command here, paste this in here, and let's give this a run. So now that we have our new Pygame package installed, if we try this out again, look at that! We have Snake! Oh my god, isn't this fun? This is kind of the magic when it comes to making these chatbots. So yeah, literally in like seconds, we have Snake built out in Python. This is pretty sweet. Oh my god, my score is 30. Oh, that's pretty lame, but you get the idea. Let's try something else then too. Let's even ask it. Give me a list of 10 games you can make in Pygame. We can even ask ChatGPT for projects for it to build for us. We have Snake, Breakout clone, Space Invaders clone, Tetris clone. Ooh, I like the Tetris idea. So we'll say, make a Tetris game in Pygame. Let's check this out here. But we don't have to know really anything on how to code in order to have some fun and build some projects in here. And if we even take a look at the code it generated too, we can play around with some of the things here it gives us and just kind of see what we can do to make it a little bit better. So we have the window dimensions here. If I were to change this, maybe make it a little bit bigger, run this. Oh wow, look at this. So now we have an even bigger size screen for our Snake game. Luckily it goes pretty fast, but it's gonna take a minute for us to die on this one. Fuck. All right, whatever. Let's see if this is done. Oh, so it's still working here. Oh wow, look at this. We got some interesting code here. We'll just let it do its thing. I don't think I've ever seen this, but a triple continue generating on making our Tetris clone here. This is exciting. I have high hopes for this one. You lost. All right, let's check this out. Let's see if I copy this, come back into here. Tetrisgame.py. Give it a run. Oh boy, look at this. Some Comic Sans. How do I turn the key? Oh, look at this. Oh my lord. This is exciting. I can't remember the last time I played Tetris, but this is phenomenal. So how do I, up and down is to change it. Can I sneak this one in here? Oh, I can't, damn it. Shit, okay, I suck at Tetris. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be a rough start here. All right, sweet, there we go. We finally getting somewhere here. Oh, brother. No. All right, I could spend all day on this, but you get the idea. Tetris made in one single Python command. Isn't this something? This is incredible. I actually really do like this. Let's move on though. So another thing that I like to do, and something that you can easily do with AI, and it's how I build basically all of my projects, is building Python scripts to scrape the internet. Now, if you've never heard of scraping before, it's basically a process of using code or Python or JavaScript to automate the process of obtaining information on the internet. Theoretically, it should all be publicly available information. So you're not really stealing any information, you're just kind of gathering the information that's already out there in a very easy and simple way. So we'll say, can you scrape this entire page for links with Python? And then if I want to use this Google search here for dogs, and I want to scrape all the links on the Google search for dogs, it tells us to use requests and beautiful soup here. So if we don't already have these installed here, we're going to say this: how can I install the stuff for this and use this URL? So we need the actual commands to get the libraries necessary in order to run this, because if we don't know how to code, we can always ask ChatGPT how we can fix these errors. So it tells us we need to install Python, of course. Make sure we install requests and beautiful soup. So we can do this by running pip install requests, which I'm pretty sure I already have. Yeah, same thing with this one as well. Awesome. And it tells us we need to just change our target URL with our new URL. So I'll take this from here. I'll make a new one called scrapegoo.py, and then I'll put this in here, and then I'll just put this in here like so. Let's give this a run. And look at that. So after a quick little run of this program here, we get all kinds of URLs. And these are all the URLs that we could find on Google. So let's actually edit this. And if we paste this script, we're going to say, how can you print this to a text document? So we want to actually convert this information into something that we can use. Because right now it's just all in the terminal here, but we can edit our code a little bit more to help us get some information and put this somewhere useful. So we have our links.txt, which is, look at that, all of our links that we got here. Isn't that nice? All right, so it gives us a lot of image URLs here. But then it looks like we have the actual legitimate links for, okay, so we get this, but these links don't really seem that useful. So let's do this. Let's take this. I'm gonna put this back in a ChatGPT. I'm gonna say, can you edit this code so the links it prints out are actually useful? All right, so it looks like it's installing this lib parse here in our script and doing something kind of similar to what it was doing before, but now we have a filtered links one in here. Right, so let's try this out again. So if I come into here, paste in our new code and give it a run, we've got our filtered links.txt, and this looks like something more familiar for what we're seeing. Okay, there we go. So now we have some legitimate links that we can use here. We have a Google Maps link for dogs as well, a Wikipedia for dog, National Geographic for dogs, right? Pretty sweet here. And now if we wanted to maybe change this up, so if we wanted to get the different kinds of links, maybe instead of dogs, we want cats. Look at that, cats spelt weird because, well, why not? And now we have cat URLs. We have cat Wikipedia, cat behavior, cat breeds. What kind of breeds of cat are there? Look at that. But yeah, this is just kind of one area of scraping that I wanted to kind of demonstrate. Obviously, you can take this and do whatever you want with it and scrape any kind of publicly available information. I would say with scraping specifically, just be careful if you make too many requests, as they can IP ban you. But as long as you're pretty careful and safe about it, you should be pretty good. But I want to show you guys one more really cool thing you can do with ChatGPT without knowing how to code at all, and that's how to build a mobile app. And to make this a little bit simpler, I'm going to show you guys one really cool library that'll allow us to do this to make things a ton easier. And this library is called Expo. It basically allows us to use our Node.js that we installed earlier to set up and make really cool applications in seconds. So all we're going to need to do is come into ChatGPT here and then just say, build me a simple Expo Notes app, tell me how to set it up and how to get it working on my phone. So it's going to tell us some instructions here. Make sure we have Node.js installed. We've already installed it earlier in the video. I'm gonna take this here and I'm just gonna install the Expo CLI if I haven't already. I think I already have most of it, I guess not, but yeah, we'll let that install here. And then once that's done, we'll start our My Notes app. What's great about Expo is they actually have an app from the App Store that you can download to actually view your applications you build on your computer in real time. It's one of my favorite libraries to work with when building mobile apps, and it will allow us to basically build a really simple application without really knowing how to code at all. So we can just paste in our new command to build a Notes app here. So it tells us, ooh, the global CLI has been depreciated. That's okay. I think we can just move on from that. But we want a blank app, so we'll start off with a clean canvas. Just hit enter. And after this is done, we'll cd into My Notes app. So we'll copy that command. Awesome, so now we have our new application here. I will just enter that thing. I'll enter that command in, and now I need to develop our app. So we need to change our app.js to have some different functionality here. So I'll copy this. So if I go into my folder and check out my app.js, I'm just gonna paste this new stuff in here, and then let's give it a run. So Expo start. If we check this out here, ooh, looks like it wasn't working. Let's copy this here and see what we need to do. So I'm gonna copy the error, put this back in here. I think we need to actually use this npx expo start. This might be the new version of Expo that we have to use inside of our project. Yeah, so just by changing it from expo start to npx expo start, we can now get this QR code that we can scan on our phone. So if you haven't already and you're following along, you're gonna wanna install the Expo app on your mobile device. So I already have it installed here, but it will literally just be called Expo, and it will look like the application that we have been working with, the Expo Go app right here. And if I open this up, and after I have the application installed, if I give this QR code a scan, it will take me on over to my Expo page here. And then there we go. So now we have our Notes app. So if I can add a note like, hey, this is my first note, add a note, and look at that. We can play around with it. So we'll say, second note, I like pizza. Look at that. So now we have our Notes app right in here. And the coolest part about Expo is that we can edit this directly inside of here. And then we can save it, and the changes will reflect on our application. So I'm gonna take this code here, come back into here, and then I'm gonna say, can you add a functionality to delete and add titles to notes, also edit notes, and make it look nice? So this is kind of a hefty prompt here, but we're just gonna give it a shot, see what happens. Right, so we have some new features here that we're gonna check out, and it gives us a couple more things that we can do. Awesome, so now we can take this here, and you can copy our new code, and I'll just paste it into here, give it a save, and look at that. I didn't have to do anything, but now it's updating inside my app automatically. So now I can add in a title, say, note 1. This is a cool note. Add note, and now I can edit this note if I want. Ah, look at that. Note E, save the note, or I can delete the note. Awesome. So if I just type stuff in here, sure, give it an add. If I want note 10, we have our notes. Isn't that awesome? That is fantastic. Can even add some blank notes in here if we want. But yeah, we have like a really simple Notes app built out in literally a matter of no time. And then you have to code a single line to get that to work. But before I wrap this video up, I just want to let you guys know that the possibilities with this is really endless. You could take this as far as you want and ask ChatGPT anything you want and have it be your guide to code out any kind of coding project you can think of. You can literally come in here and you can ask it how you can build out full mobile games, or how you can build out a website, a blog, host stuff. There's all kinds of cool tools out there for you to get started learning to do all kinds of great stuff. There's these hosting tools like Netlify, and also Vercel if you want to host your own project for free. There's also content management systems like Sanity, which I really like, that allow you to make blogs all through coding. You can ask ChatGPT along the way to help you with everything. You can make scrapers and scripts with Appify if you want. This will allow you to host those scripts we were building earlier. Like I said, we have tools like Expo. There's all kinds of really cool coding tools that we can use and build with ChatGPT without even really writing a single line of code. And if you want to even get really good with this, you can even check out some of the custom GPTs in the GPT store. So if we just type in Expo here, There might even be, yeah, a React Native Expo assistant. There's a couple Expo architects in here that'll help us make better Expo code for our project. So we can just use one of these bots and it's already trained on the Expo knowledge base. So it might even give us a better response than if you're just using ChatGPT. There's also one for Vercel in here. There's all kinds of good ones. Or even some of the ones I've been using like Scrapey, Python, and Firebase are these custom GPTs that allow us to get really detailed information about a particular library to help us code better code without actually having to code at all. And this really does turn everyone into a software engineer at some level. You don't have to really know how to code, but if you know how to type in what you want and play around with the code, you can pretty much make anything you want. And this can go as far and as complex as you want. If you want to make SaaS applications, you can start using Firebase to host your applications. Or if you want to make scrapers and scripts, you can use Python and Scrapey. There's a ton of different cool tools out there. And you can even ask ChatGPT, like, what are the best tools for doing X? How would I go about doing this? Come up with new ideas for literally anything, right? And just kind of use that to brainstorm ideas, pick what you want, leave what you don't, and just build literally everything. And I truly believe you can build whatever you set your mind to, as long as you put in a little bit of effort to learn how the outputs on ChatGPT can be reflected inside VS Code. Then you can really build anything. And the best part is you can be like half a brain cell on while you're doing all this. I've been playing around with this technology since it came out, and I really think I only have like 8 or 9 months maximum of being like a coder with this kind of stuff. I still really don't even know how to code, but I know light years ahead of where I would have been if I had to learn this stuff manually on my own. So if you got any value out of this video, make sure to give it a like. Also, let me know down below in the comments what kind of projects you're going to be making, whether that be a blog, a SaaS, an app, a desktop application, or a scraping tool. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me in this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.